So a bunch of you wanted to see it, so let's take a look at it. I asked you guys if you wanted to take a close look at this Anykit digital endoscope, which I think we've established is actually a borescope, model number TS43. And yeah, good news is I'm on vacation this week, so I can take the time to squeeze this into my video making schedule. And the nice thing is, the one that I was going to post this week, I could post the next video, and I could take a weekend off. So there we go. But yeah, starting off, I got this on Prime Day deals. I don't know what the hell they call it. It's that thing they do twice a year. It was marked at 70, on sale for 50. I checked it right before I started making this video, and it's actually 60, so they probably bumped the price up $10 right before the sale, so it would make it look like you were getting more money off. It's just the way shit works, I guess. But anyway, yeah, so an endoscope, borescope, we'll call it from now on, because I don't want to feed into their lies. But a borescope is nice. Back when I was doing construction equipment, I was also the small engine guy, and one of the reasons I bought my original one, which was just basically an LED light at the end of a stick that you could look down and things, no screen or anything. We were a still dealer, and occasionally customers would put straight fuel into their things and their chop saws, and yeah, I would instead of having to charge them, you know, a half an hour labor to pull the thing off and say, yeah, the jug's bad, I just stick the borescope in there while the guy was in the waiting room there and say, yeah, your jug smoked, it needs a new jug, and I'd usually refer them to a small engine shop down the street because our labor rate was a little too high to justify doing that repair at our shop. But yeah, these things are also, they come in handy for situations where you just can't see where you need to get. It's in a tight spot, like you got a hydraulic leak, whereas you'd have to get, you know, your mirror with the flashlight, and everything's backwards because it's in a mirror and you can't quite make it out, and you got to contort yourself underneath the machine. Whereas to this thing, you could just kind of feed that little endoscope in there, borescope. See, they got me doing it now. Borescope in there and kind of take a good gander at what you're looking at without having to get cramps in your back from being twisted up underneath a deal there. But let's get into the specs of the thing. Okay. Speaking of specs, gotta put my spectacles on. There ain't much going on here. It's got a 5.5mm lens, which was a selling point for this for me. I wanted the smaller the diameter head on the thing, because diesel engines, unlike your regular gasoline or propane engine, is what I would do, where the injector would go through, where you'd actually want to put the borescope through, it's usually thinner than or a smaller diameter than you would see on like a spark plug, and the bigger ones, like 8mm, seems to be a common size, which is too big to fit inside that hole. I looked at Milwaukee's one, and that thing, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but like I said, there's not too many holes that big bulbous head would fit in for my needs. You're looking at, I could put my glasses on, I promise. 70 degree angle of view, which is camera sitting here 70 degrees would be how much you can see out the end of it. It's got adjustable LEDs on the head. The old one I had that I got off the Snap-on truck was just a borescope. It actually had a second fiber optic cable that would go through, and the LED was up inside of it, and it actually kind of sucked. I probably paid 3 times for that one off the Snap-on truck than I paid for this. But I mean, it was probably 15 years ago. Operating range 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 113 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 0 to 45 C. It's basically your comfortable temperatures in there. I'm sure the restrictions on that is for the LCD screen, especially when you get into the cold end of things. So something to keep in mind. 2000 milliamp hour battery gives you a 2.5 to 3 hour battery life. I guess depending on whether or not you're recording, that would suck a little bit more juice down on the thing. Snapshot resolution is 1080 is what they're saying. You could also switch that down to 720. I don't know why you'd want to do that. I mean, memory's cheap. And probe 1 megapixel HD, and it's got a 4:3 HD display. Again, it is what it is. They are talking. Well, they do send you, as far as what you get with it, they send it with an SD card. Me personally, I've seen holes drilled in truck stop bathroom stalls that I would trust more than an unbranded SD card coming straight out of China. So that went straight in the garbage, and I just put another one in there. Like I said, they're calling it HD, but you don't need a necessarily high-end, the box is empty, high-end SD card to do what you got to do with this thing. So, over there. It also comes with some attachments here, or implements that you could screw onto the end of it. It has a little bitty magnet that you could stick on it, so when you're looking for that 10 millimeter inside that engine bay there, you could reach down and stick it on there and pull it out. Kind of cool. I could see how that would come in handy. You get a hook for, I don't know, if you drop your keys in your sink and you want to hook them out, fine. And you also get a right angle lens, which we'll get into later. Not 100% fond of this, but it is what it is. And then you get the old unit here. Before we switch the camera angles around, this actual coiled up scope end is roughly, I measured it as roughly, it doesn't say anywhere, it's 16 feet. So that's about 10 feet longer than I could ever possibly need. And the reason is, I'm assuming this is, I mean, I don't know what the other trades are doing, but maybe a plumber would want something a little bit longer to run down a pipe, or an electrician to get up inside a wall. I don't know, but for me, like I said, I mean, 6 foot would be fine for me, but I just don't need to unreel it. So yeah, let's flip cameras around and we'll face down. We'll walk you through the settings. There's not too much on there. I'll give you a little bit of view of it going on through the camera. And I actually had a diesel that I was looking at a couple weeks ago, and I got some pictures of the tops of the pistons, and I actually ran the thing down inside the block where I wouldn't be able to see. And we'll take a look at the resolution there. I will say, from seeing it in person, it's good enough. It's pretty good resolution. I wouldn't necessarily call it HD, but like I said, you see what you need to see, and that's all I really need the thing for. I'm not sure. The reason I'm saying that is because I'm not sure exactly what it's gonna, after I'm done editing and YouTube gets done compressing it, what you're gonna see on your end. So just saying that off the bat there. So yeah, let's switch stuff around and we'll dig into it a little bit. All right, well, this is it out of the package here. They give you these two little Velcro ties to get all this coil wound up. Again, like I said, it's about 16 feet is what I measured it to. It comes with this little plastic cap, maybe poly or something. Covers the thing to keep the gunk out of it. And I kind of wish they'd give you a couple of these. See, I mean, I could see myself losing this little nub before this video ends. So, yeah, it'd be kind of nice if you got a couple of these, but oh, look at that, I fucking lost it already. No, there it is. All right. But, yeah, so going over to button, I'm going to keep the lighting down for this one, just so we're not getting the glare across the screen while I'm trying to show what I'm doing here. Buttons go. This turns the brightness of the LED coming out the end of this guy up and down. I think you have 3 brightness settings, and then you have off. Power button, obviously. This takes a picture, or it starts and stops recording. Menus up and down, okay. This takes you into the settings. and this takes you through the different modes, I believe, but we'll figure that out in a second. So yeah, let's turn it on. All right, push and hold to turn on. There you go. And I forgot to mention too, on this here back end, you flip this open, you got your USB and your place where you plug your SD card in. So we got over here, again, take a picture, and you got that stored in the memory there. As far as settings go, it's pretty basic. You're not going to be able to see any of that, but it's pretty basic as far as the settings go. It's time, dates, resolutions, and what have you. Not really too much to see there. If you've ever used a digital camera, you're going to know what's going on with this. So let's turn that off. M button, that cycles the M button. It's a mode button. Cycles between video recording, and that'll actually take you to the part where if I had multiple pictures in here, you could go in and see the pictures that you've already taken, and then it comes back to just regular snapshot camera, and again the up and down. Now, as far as focal length goes on this, which is another, didn't tell you what it was, but it turned out that it was about right for what I would need it for. A lot of endoscope, borescope type things, the focal length is like right in on it, and anything you get out to here and then it just comes out of focus. But luckily with this one, like I said, I got lucky that that's just how it worked out. I'll record it and I'll drop the clip in from me recording it, but you can kind of see here, I mean, up close you got a pretty good look at my hand here. And then as I back out, let's see, and I got my glasses on, so I'll be able to tell when it actually comes out of focus. Look at that, right around there, you start losing resolution. So that's 5-6 inches, which is nice because it's got a good range there. And here, while I'm at it, I'll show you the different brightness levels of the LED. That's one down from the highest. That's as low as it'll go. It's actually not a bad lighting there, and that's completely off. So it gets kind of dark when it gets completely off. It also has, if I can remember, let me see. Let me stop the recording. Push that. I'm still learning this thing. Let's take it to camera. You can see here. Hopefully you can see. Yeah, I think you can. I'll twist that a little bit there. You can actually do a digital zoom, which, if I'm being honest, kind of sucks. It goes two kicks in with the digital zoom, and then I think this one will actually rotate it. So if you're 180 degrees off, you could flip it like that. Or is that a mirror? No, it's 180. There you go. So yeah, and that's one of the problems with these, is that sometimes you get it, once you get it into the place, you kind of have trouble orienting yourself with the camera, because this is twisted upside down because you had to kind of work it through an area. And yeah, that's kind of cool that they let you do that, flip it upside down. And yeah, like I said, the zoom is, it's balls. I don't really see a point for that. You can't really see it on the camera there, but it's all granulated here. It's just, yeah, it's potato vision once you zoom in. But I mean, you really don't need to. Again, just get the thing closer. So, all right, let me set things back up, and I will go into the footage that I took earlier, and we will take a look at some real world footage that I got while I was working, and yeah, let's do that. All right, now this particular engine that we're looking at, it's running rich. I got one cylinder that isn't firing correctly. Just to kind of give you a backstory, just blows black smoke out. Rolling coal is fun when you're, you know, driving past a bunch of environmentalists, but in a warehouse situation, it's not so cool. So let's take a look at the first picture here. This would be number 1 cylinder, and you can kind of see my cursor usually isn't bright yellow and huge. I'm just doing that so you can see what I'm pointing at here. But yeah, you can see the spray pattern here for the injector. And we're going to come over here to number 3, which you kind of can see it a little bit better. And again, like I said, the resolution is not great, but you know, it's good enough for what it is. And I mean, I can kind of see what's going on here. And then we come over to the number 2 cylinder, which is the suspect here. And you can see there's no spray pattern on it. Everything's a lot lighter, and that's because it's just not burning like it should be. And yeah, so let's go to a video here. Alright, now this video here is me actually sticking the endoscope down inside the injector port, I guess you would say, and just kind of looking around. Like I said, it's the coloring in this, it's pretty dark, so it's really not too much contrast as far as color goes, but I mean, I think you kind of get the idea of what you're looking at there. Alright, now here is a still shot with the right angle mirror attachment on the end of it. Again, you can see the reflection of the actual light from the end of the scope there. And this, again, you could really see the cross hatching on the cylinder there. With this thing, the refresh rate on the camera isn't necessarily that great, so when you're doing video, any little bit of a movement, it just kind of blurs. It's kind of hard to explain, like almost like the FPS is a little low on it. It's still usable, just once you kind of find out where you're going, and it's a lot better when you're holding the thing in your hand than it is when you're recording it, I've noticed too. But when you're holding it in your hand, you kind of get where you need to go, and then you just hold it still, and then you could do your video. I really don't see myself doing too much video with this, to be honest with you. It would be mostly find the place where I need to be, take the picture, and then you're good to go. So let's skip on over to a movie, and I just more or less found a spot in the engine just to jab the thing down inside of, to put it in a place where I wouldn't necessarily be able to see. And you can see here, like, that's a good freeze frame right there where it wasn't moving too much, and it's pretty clear as far as what's going on there. Like I said, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at, because like I said, I couldn't see it, so I just jammed it in a place where I wouldn't be able to get to with my eyes or a mirror. But yeah, I'm just kind of poking around here, and again, we got ourselves, looks like we got an exhaust bolt there. Yeah, for video, it's kind of balls, I gotta be honest with you. But again, I really don't see myself using it for video too much, so I don't really want to fault it for that. And what we got here? I think this is actually the actuator on the turbo I was looking at, which again, this thing's in there pretty good. Let's see if we get a good freeze frame on it. Pretty sure I got a good one in here. Let me see. There we go. That's not bad. And again, this actuator that you're looking at right here, that is actually like that big in real life. So, kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how much bigger you can make things look. So I don't think there's much more on this video. There's looks like an exhaust flange of some sort. I don't know why why this won't skip ahead. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, just another look at that exhaust right there. So, yeah, I think we get the idea. So, that is the Anykit model TS43 digital borescope. I'm not calling it endoscope because it's not. Yeah, so, like I said, using it out in the real world, I kind of like it. It does what it needs to do. I wouldn't call it, spectacular video or picture that you get out of the thing, but I'm going to make it a movie. I'm just trying to take a look at something or be able to show somebody something that I can't necessarily get to with my eyes or a camera of some sort, like a cell phone camera, I should probably say. Yeah, so like I said, I'm sure the ones that are $250 blow this thing out of the water, but for the $50 I paid for it or the $60 that it's going for now, I don't see how you could go wrong buying something like this, especially if you're in my situation where you might only ever whip the thing out of the truck, half dozen times a year, or it might be more than that. Now that I have it, I actually find uses for it, which is I do sometimes when I buy new tools. But yeah, so like I said, I could see this being useful. You got a leak buried in something, and you got to pull a bunch of stuff off to get to it. Whereas to this, say it's a small leak, I could see where it is, and I know I'm going to need a bunch of, if I got to pull an intake off, I got to get a bunch of gaskets to put the intake back on when I'm actually doing the repair. So, if the customer can live with a little bit of a leak for a little bit, he keeps an eye on the fluid until I get all the parts. He can run his forklift until I get back out with all the parts, and he's not down and out with the forklift for a day or 3 or 5, depending on what's going on there. So, yeah, I can honestly say for the price, it's not bad. I can't see you going wrong with this. So, yeah, I think that's about it for this thing. As always, thanks for watching, and questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the dilly-do there, and I'll be sure to try my best to get back to you on them. And yeah, that's a video. There you go.